I know they said that wasn't real, but bro, he did do that. Yeah, he actually jumped over that car. Anyway, though, yeah, that wasn't safe, and we're going through safeties today, so that wasn't a very good transition. But anyway, yeah, this is a position that a lot of people don't really know much about, so I'm gonna try to get through this as quick as possible. Be a little bit shorter than the last couple ones, but anyway, tier week continues as we get through the secondary. And with that, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the NFL. Please like and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoy the 2025 NFL safety rankings. I will be going through every safety that mostly that again will hopefully get some starting playing time. I mean, there's some guys in here that like this guy who are already retired. That's why we got this tier. But yes, if you not watch past tier rankings, again, this is tier week. It's about 2 weeks long, so it's not really a week. But I go through every single position and I rank players into tiers. They're creative. They're not really very exact, so again, don't really take these for what they are, but that's really what's going to happen. Anyway, though, our bottom tier for the safeties is the no, that's not the bottom tier. The tier where I'm basically just going to put guys if they're rookies, so I don't really care about thinking they're going to really really make an impact, or like I can't really make a conclusion on yet, despite evaluating them and stuff. Or they're like Tyrann Mathieu. So that's the guys that are there, or the guys that just really don't know who the hell they are, because I mean there's some guys on there like that are like that. Anyway, last bottom tier is no. It's just because, again, they can't be on the field. That just simply put, like you put them on the field, just not good things aren't going to happen. House call. These are guys that in the open field are probably going to give a long touchdown, or are just susceptible to not being very good. They make a lot of mistakes. Mismatch. Usually, again, we're talking about average safeties. There's a good chance they're not always awesome in coverage, or there's just a mismatch in general. There's probably something that they struggle with, and that's part of the reason that's holding them back, because there's probably another part of the game they're good at. The reason I say box bros is usually solid safeties are guys who can thrive in the box pretty well. And again, there's other guys that don't get in here who definitely don't fit that. But again, that's where I see a lot of these decently good safeties. Hybrid heroes, these are guys that can usually are pretty versatile, because again, once you get in this like A tier ish or like B plus tier range, these guys are able to play both parts of a safety role really well. Rangy, again, this is where the like higher end safeties are. Again, there's some guys that aren't really that great in coverage, but again, most of the time they are. Dynamic demons, these are the playmaking safeties. Again, they elevate defenses, and they got the backbones. These are the best safeties in football. If the team did not have that guy on their defense, they would be significantly worse. With that said, though, we will start out with the second-year guy in Cole Bishop, who had a pretty interesting rookie season overall. For me, it was a lot of learning moments for him, and the fact that he still was able to do a decent job with that is probably throwing me in the mismatch tier for him, which isn't bad, because, again, like I said, he might be a mismatch in some situations, but, again, overall did do a decent job in the situation he was put in. Jordan Hancock, he's going to go right into rookie or the rook tier, just because of the fact that I don't really think he'll get enough playing time from what we've seen so far to really know where he is. Speaking of that, Taylor Rapp's not here. He'd go into Brox Bros, but Jordan Hancock, I hope, gets some playing time. But again, the fact that he really isn't really good enough of coverage to really, again, be a good place for him, that's why he's going to be there. DeMar Hamlin's also a mismatch. Again, we all know about the story, and again, the fact that he came back from the dead in 2022, which is just absolutely phenomenal. And that story is one of the most inspirational for anyone in the world, who's struggling with anything. So, but in terms of an actual NFL player, he's not the fastest. His hips are really bad. He's pretty bad in man coverage, but at the same time, he does track the ball pretty well. Decently good as a tackler, and in coverage, again, he's not great, but again, overall isn't terrible. Again, he's just kind of an average safety. Up next is Minkah, who got traded back to the Dolphins. A lot of people are overreacting, again, with his speed regression. I'm putting him in... Do I throw him in rangy? I'm going to put him in hybrid heroes. Guys, he's still a guy that can go out there and cover. I understand the fact that I think some of his dynamic sort of demon, I guess that's the best way to put it, in terms of like that part of his game is kind of fading. I don't think he's literally lost a step, though. I still think that he still has that burst in him. It's just the fact that I don't think he's as explosive, or a guy who's just going to consistently just make insane plays and you're like, what the hell is going on, sort of thing. He's still, again, very, very solid, but I think, again, this will probably be the season where you're like, yeah, not the greatest. And overall, last season in coverage, he still wasn't very good, to be honest with you guys. Even though he's got that, I don't really like the notion that he's completely slowed down or anything like that. I'm going to say there's a Fedu Melifonwu, even though it's not his picture. He will go in Box Bros. He's a guy who, again, just injuries have been a little bit of an issue the past couple years. He is very fun to watch just because of how his instincts just kind of take over at times. But he's not the most athletically gifted player in the safety in football. And also, there are times where he does get beat in coverage. But outside of that, guys, awesome, dynamic guy in the box, and he's a very fun player to watch. I really hasn't gotten a true starting role either, though. Ashton Davis, for me, is a mismatch. No, he's going in Box Bros. He's a solid player. just overall, in terms of zone coverage, he's not always the most disciplined. And the fact that you can't really rely on him to be a true rangy free safety and also be a guy who can really make plays in the boundary is an issue for him, especially with the fact that he's not going to really be the most impactful against the run, but even then he's not like bad by any means. Up next, this is Dante Trader. He, for me, is going to go in house call. He will get enough snaps this season. I get a very good chance he will be able to for things to happen. But for him, last year at Maryland, he just really wasn't that great. And the fact, again, he's a guy who really is predicated on not giving up big plays. And the fact that, especially against the run last year, he was pretty susceptible to that is a big issue. I think he'll struggle a lot as a rookie, but I think he'll learn a lot of different things. And there will be moments where, like, yeah, he definitely made a step there. I think going into next season, he'll be definitely a lot higher in terms of what we're going to see. But again, going into the season, I think it'll definitely be a tough year for him. With that said, though, Andre Cisco's next. He's going to go in hybrid hero. He's not the most talented safety by any means in football, but for what is it now? 3 or 4 years with the Jags, he's giving you really good play, especially you can go back to 2023. He is one of the more valuable free safety boundary guys in football just because of the fact of how consistent he is and the fact that in zone coverage he reads out the field very, very well and very rarely gives up a big play over the middle. And also, the best part of his game is the fact that he contains very, very well, despite maybe not being the most physical or imposing tackler. Next up is the Jets, Tony Adams. He's been around a while. I'm going to put him in box pros. He's a solid safety in my opinion. I think he does a lot of good things for this defense. Definitely more in like a reserve role. But the fact that, again, he really has never made too many mistakes from what I saw in film over the past 2 years, he's got to get his respect. But at the same time, he's not like anything crazy. Now we're on to, who is this? Who do we got here? Malachi Moore. Malachi Moore, for me, I think will go right next to Dante Trader in terms of what I think I will see out of him as a rookie. He's definitely a better player than Dante Trader. There's a lot more. I'm thinking of a mismatch. Malachi Moore has a lot of good things for him just because of the fact that, again, his pedigree is just there. But at the same time, he isn't always the most engaged, and especially against some of these bigger blockers, that will be an issue. And just the fact that I think against run, that'll be an issue for him. But again, he's very versatile, though. And again, the fact that he's just overall a very solid guy in coverage, that'll help him out a lot. But again, against the run, I think that'll be a little bit of a learning curve for him. Up next is Jabril Peppers, who I thought I'd never see in jail, but again, him being an NFL player and stuff, he's going to go right and rangy. He's a phenomenal free safety overall. Just the fact, again, in terms of we're talking about like ball tracking, he's not always the best. And there were games last year when he was in one high where he wasn't as effective per se, but overall, again, on film, there's really nothing bad about his game. He's very solid, and man, he does a really good job of closing things down. And again, like I said, he's got very solid reads overall. Kyle Duggar will go right next to him. I think all these guys are very, very good, very, very good players. But Kyle Duggar last year really wasn't as good as he was in 2023. He's a very different player than Jabril Peppers, but again, they have a pretty similar skill set in terms of like in their strengths and weaknesses. But the biggest thing with Kyle Duggar is the fact that he hasn't really been able to kind of adapt into a role where he can play a lot in the slot, which I think is what they're going to need out of him a little bit this year. Again, I understand they have Marcus Jones, but in terms of a physical presence there, that would be a huge part. But again, if he can kind of adapt to that star role, I think that would be a big part in getting him up here. But again, he's got a lot still to do with him. Next up, I can't tell you who this is right off the top of my head. Who do we got? Jalen Hawkins. Jalen Hawkins, for me, is a house call. He's not a very good player, but he is pretty athletic, so that's going to keep him on the field. It's just the fact that, again, coverage, he's very, very easily going to give guys a lot of space. It's just because he's not very disciplined. Like, that's the best way to put it. I do like the fact that Mike Vrabel's really, like, put a stress on the fact that these guys cannot be giving up huge throwing windows, and I think that's something he's definitely improved on this offseason. But how much does that really matter when you're also, again, your hips are just not always in sync with the way, again, you want your legs to move, which, again, sounds very awkward, but for him specifically, that's what I've seen of him. Like he's like, his feet are just like, what's going on there? Anyway, up next is, I don't even know who we're going to say. I cannot tell you who. Again, I know these safeties, but like, I do not know who's who. I think Geno Stone is this guy. That's this is Tyson Anderson, who's really just a backup. I guess we just go with Tyson right now. Tyson Anderson, for me, is going to be in house call. He's just a backup safety. There's really nothing bad about his game. He's just not a guy that you're going to really want to consistently see on the field, being completely honest with you. We'll say this is Geno Stone. Geno Stone's going to go in box pros. Geno Stone's not a guy that I think I really take a liking to, just because of the fact that there's a lot of plays where you're like, what is he doing? He's being too aggressive. But in terms of a dynamic player, he's definitely there. Again, he's got that higher ceiling as a player. Again, he had 6 interceptions 2 years ago as well. But at the same time, again, he's just not like that. He's just not that great, to be honest with you guys. And also, I'm just not a fan of the way he plays, to be honest with you. Again, just that's what I got on him. And we got Jordan Battle. He's gonna go. Yeah, he'll go right next to him. They're very similar players. And again, how they approach again a throw, but at the same time, they're very different in how they play against the run. But overall, both those guys are again, we're just inconsistent last year, even though they're pretty talented players overall. I don't really think there's too much else to say there. Next up are who are we now? The No, we're not in the Ravens yet. I couldn't tell you who these guys. Why are the Steelers? Oh wait, what the heck? No, this is the Browns. My bad. Who do the Browns have rocking right now? Like completely forgot who they're starting. Oh, they got Garrett Delpit, again, Ronnie Hickman, Rayshon Jenkins, and Demonte Casey. Rayshon Jenkins is here. Demonte Casey, I think, is right here. This is Ronnie Hickman, and then this is Grant Delpit. Grant Delpit, for being this guy going to Hybrid Heroes, very, very talented athletic player. Cannot stay healthy and in coverage. He's given up way too many throws over the middle and has not really prevented enough yak yardage for my liking, and all, as well as the fact that, again, he does get shaked a little bit in coverage in terms of against some of these more shifty receivers. But there's a lot of good things from him. He is a heat-seeking missile at some points. He's a very talented player, but I mean, he just still hasn't really put it all together outside of maybe the 2021 season where he was just all over the place. Next up, Demonte Casey. He's going to be a mismatch for me. He's not a bad player at all. It's just the fact that I don't really think there's a lot of guys, for him, at least coverage-wise, that he really matches up too well against. And that's just going to limit him overall. Next up is Ronnie Hickman. For me, he is also a mismatch. He actually had a really solid year last year. A lot of people don't understand how well he played. But again, coming off the fact that he was really a backup for, again, going into the season, and also there were definitely some rough moments, to say the least. I think he definitely goes right here, but he had a really nice season overall. Rayshon Jenkins is a house call. He's not but he's pretty close. He's kind of just a guy who, again, will make plays, but we all know that at the end of the day, he's just completely terrible in coverage, and as a guy overall, you want to be kind of like a dynamic force. Not really going to give you that all the time. I guess we're getting this Kyle Hamilton. He's the best safety in football. Again, the fact they were able to move him to just play straight up free safety, and the fact that, again, we really hadn't seen him play that true spot over a consistent season after, again, a guy like Micah Williams was so bad, and the fact, again, he was able to play that just tells you how good he actually is. There is another safety in football that I'd want on my roster. He's so physical. He's so evasive. I don't even know another way to put it. He's just a guy that is you cannot not have on your defense. Again, you can form an entire team around him even. That's how good he is. Who is this? No, my God, I'm joking. Malachi Starks, for me as a rookie, I think he'll be decent. I don't think we're gonna really see any sort of playmaking exposure come out just yet. But I think he'll have a very good season. A really solid season for a rookie. Steeler guys. Who do we got? Because again, they lost their dude. We know who Deshaun Elliott is. We know who Juan Thornhill is, and I think that's Miles Killebrew. And we got Sebastian Castro, right? Is he even here? Yeah, I guess I put him in. Chuck Clark. Is he here? No, Sebastian Castro, Miles Killebrew, Jordan Elliott, and I don't know who this is. Who is this? Juan Thornhill. All right. Deshaun Elliott's going to go in hybrid hero. He's so dynamic on the field. Again, I understand he's not very consistent, and he also has had injury issues. But when he's been on the field, guys, he's done a great job, especially for the Steelers last season. Miles Killebrew is a role player, but he's a mismatch at the end of the day. He's a very good special teamer, one of the best we've seen in a while now. But, again, in terms of actually a true starting safety, he's just kind of a mismatch. But I think he has worked himself into a starting role, again, at times. Sebastian Castro, no. No, he's going to go in rook. He just hasn't really looked good in camp, but I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and see if he can develop a little bit more. Juan Thornhill is a mismatch. He's a below-average safety, but he really wasn't that bad last year. So, yeah, we're just going to roll with that. We got Nick Cross. Who is this? Cam Bynum, my bad. That's a complete brick on my part. Cam Bynum, Daniel Scott. That's a very basic name. No, I don't know what we're doing here. Colts. Nick Cross. What do we also have? Blackman, is he on here? I don't even know where Blackman is. This is definitely a glitch. Is it? What the hell? This guy's a freaking D lineman. I'm so confused. Rodney Thomas. That's the other guy. I don't even know what happened to Daniel Scott. Where's Daniel Scott? No, this is Rodney Thomas. My bad. Rodney Thomas, Cam Bynum. Who is this? We got Nick Cross there. Who is this? It is Daniel Scott. What happened to Daniel Scott? He's still on the Colts. Did he get injured again? I have no clue where this dude is. Is he in the slot? Where is Daniel Scott? He just disappeared. Anyway, though, back on track here. Nick Cross is a really good safety. I'm putting him in hybrid heroes. I wasn't the biggest fan of him in terms of the Colts roster grades, just because I didn't really think he was really all that consistent last year. But again, at the end of the day, he is a talented player, and he definitely deserves to go there. Daniel Scott, no, he just is never healthy. I don't know what else to tell you guys. Again, I like him as a player, but it doesn't matter if you can't stay healthy. And the fact that you were on the field, you missed 5 tackles. I don't know what to tell you there. Ronnie Thomas for me is a house call. He's just not a very good player. Really nothing more to it. And then we got Cam Bynum, who is going to go in rangy. He's a really good safety, especially after 2021. Again, looking way back, or not way back, a couple years ago, where he was just completely awful and just lost in coverage. The fact that his statistically he's looked a lot better and on film has looked a lot more comfortable. It's just again a nod to him. Texans safeties. What do we got? They got some interesting dudes. Not Terrell Smith. We looked at him. Yeah, I think it was what is it yesterday. But for the Texans, again, Kalen Bullock, is that Jimmy Ward? I don't even know who this is. Because we have C.J. Gardner-Johnson somewhere. We're not even on the Texans team. We're on the Jags. Slow down. Who is this? Eric Murray. Eric Murray for me, I don't even know where is he on the Jags now? Who knows? Or is he still on the Texans? Where's Eric Murray? Where he at? Is he on the Jags? He is. Eric Murray for me is just kind of a solid starting safety. He gives you definitely a lot more high ceiling in terms of playmaking and coverage, but that also comes with the fact that he is kind of like a little bit of a pain in the neck to have to use in some ways. So for that reason, I'm just going to stick him there. I think it's Antonio Johnson. I like him a lot. I'm going to put him in Box Bros just because I haven't really seen the whole part of his game yet. But there's definitely something there, and that could definitely get up to here. Outside of that, though, Darnell Savage is... I'm not going to be too mad at him because he can still play a little bit, but he's just not a very good player. Caleb Branshaw right in the rookie tier. He's got some work to do. And then Andrew Wingard, who is also a mismatch, but not in the bad way. He's just a guy that maybe won't be the most, again, sought-after guy in coverage. Not, again, in the bad way. Like, you don't want him really in those situations. Kalen Bullock, absolutely bonkers rookie season statistically, but realistically, he's not a guy that I really see being some... I don't know what's going on. This is what do we got? C.J. Gardner-Johnson, he's out the season. Jimmy Ward. This is Jimmy Ward right there. That's C.J. Gardner-Johnson. That's who is that? Who are you, bro? But more on Kalen Bullock. He's a guy who was a rookie, had an absolutely insane statistical chart. And he just really wasn't that good. But at the same time, the fact that, again, he still was able to adapt in that defense so well. There's definitely something to be said for that. But overall, for me, Kalen Bullock's got to go in Box Bros for now. I think he could definitely be that dynamic safety, but those numbers were not really, like, fair. They were just absurdly inflated. But he played, I guess, statistically, like, up here, which he's really not that guy. From what I saw so far. Andrew Stewart, no, he's not a good safety. C.J. Gardner-Johnson is not healthy. He's going right in Unk. Jimmy Ward, same thing. They're both injured. That's why they go there. But realistically, for C.J. Gardner-Johnson, I don't even know. Is he playing? I'm so confused. I swear he tore his ACL. Injury. Did he tear his ACL? Yeah, that's what I thought. I'm so confused. Is he out? Whatever. I'm just going to tier him. He's going to go on rangy. He's a really good safety. But kind of pisses me off because he's not always the most consistent. Jimmy Ward, he's out this season, right? Oh my god, I did not know that happened. Jimmy Ward, though, he's going to go in Box Bros. He's still a decent safety, but, like, that's kind of it. Alright, kind of going to try to lock in here. Titans, guys. Is Amani Hooker still on this team? If he is, yeah, he is. Amani Hooker's just a G for me. He's going to go in Hybrid Heroes. He's a really solid safety, guys. He just doesn't really, especially in the open field, really doesn't getting closes down so well. And also in coverage, very savvy. There aren't really many plays where you see him getting beat in terms of, reading how to play. But at the same time, there are a little bit of limitations with him. Who is this? Titans drafted to say, it's Kevin Winston Jr. He's going to go Ryan rookie because he's not going to play too much. Xavier Woods, he is a hybrid hero. He's a really solid safety. Again, wasn't absolutely phenomenal last year, but you get really good coverage. Again, skill with him, and that's something a lot of other guys just won't give you. I'm just going to say this is Quandre Diggs. It's not, but he right now at the moment is going to go in Box Bros. He's just really again, he got cut by the Seahawks. I'm just not really the biggest fan of his game right now, despite him obviously being a pretty solid player. And again, him being one of the more valuable, really just ball hawking safeties for a while there. And he's also really old, so like, how much are you really gonna take with that? Up next is Talanoa Hufanga for the Broncos. At this point in his career, he's so dynamic. I understand that there are times where he is here, but realistically, I'm gonna put him here despite all those injuries and the fact that he really hasn't been a good player since 2022, where he was one of the best safeties in football in terms of impact overall. But I think that's where he's going to sit for now. We got P.J. Locke and then Brandon Jones and someone else. I'm just going to go in that order. I really don't know who else is running around at this point. Yeah, Devon Key, or is it, I think it's J.L. Skinner. No, yeah. Do we have him out here? No. This is Devon Key. This is PJ Locke, and then this is Brandon Jones. Brandon Jones is a really freaking good player, guys. Brandon Jones had a phenomenal year last year. He really didn't show me anything on tape where I'm like, that was like a limit of his game. It's just the fact that, again, he's trying to take another step. But he had an absolutely great season last year. This is, what we say, this is PJ Locke. PJ Locke for me is going to go in mismatch. He's not a bad safety, but like I don't want to watch him play, to be honest with you guys. I kind of care less about him, but he's not a bad player. Devon Key is just kind of a mismatch. He wasn't very good as a zone guy last year, and again, that's really the only part of his game that's really going to keep him as a player that'll get normal snap count. But outside of that, I mean, he's just kind of there. Derwin James, right in dynamic. No, he's got to go in backbones. He's still one of the best safeties in football, guys. Again, especially after a really great season last year. We all know he's one of the more high-end, playmakers in football overall, even. And the fact that, again, last year he was just so disappointing coverage is just kind of a testament how good he actually is. This is Alohi Gilman. This is, who else we got in this Chargers safety room? Elijah Molden and Tony Jefferson, right? Yeah, that's Tony Jefferson. That's Elijah Molden. For Alohi Gilman, he was probably around here last year. I'm gonna bump him down a tier because his coverage stats just weren't there, and also he looked a little bit slower last season, despite him actually taking a step up as a run defender, which again is a good thing. Tony Jefferson is unk, but he still gives him decent play, and Elijah Molden for me is a box pro. He's a solid depth piece, and he actually looked really solid last year. All right, you got Mike Edwards. I don't know who this is. Who do we got? Jeremy Chin? I didn't know that was him. But I think that we got noticed not Najee Johnson for the Chiefs. Who are the Chiefs safeties? We got Brian Cook, right, and Shamari Connor. This is Shamari Connor, Brian Cook, and Mike Edwards. Shamari Connor is kind of just a mismatch. Again, some people like him a lot. I actually think he had a really solid season last year, but the fact is, again, against tight ends, he is just not good. And again, with the fact that he struggled against receivers last year in man press, it's just something that's got to change. But outside of that, again, he's a solid player. Who do we got? Brian Cook going to box pros. He's been a starter the past few years. He's done a good job. Mike Edwards, no. I don't really know why he's still on this team. But again, he's just kind of chilling. Jeremy Chin for me is a hybrid hero. He's too dynamic not to be put here. I understand in coverage. There's some ugly numbers. And he is just not a natural fit in zone coverage. But the fact that he is so impactful against the run and just blows up holes and comes out of nowhere to make plays, that is something a lot of these other guys just don't have in their arsenal. Isaiah Paul Mal, he's going to go in rangy. I'm very high on this guy. He's just someone who, again, consistently makes a lot of plays, and especially in coverage, he's so like just boundary dependent in the way that the fact that, again, he can kind of just bounce off of that and just kind of cover the middle field and just blanket it overall. Very, very good player. Who is this? Well, I think I just made up someone, right? That's not the Terrell Edmonds. I'm just Terrell Edmonds. Terrell Edmonds is just a brick at this point. He sucks. Yeah, he's gonna go there though. Back to Commanders. Will Harris is just kind of a house call. He's an okay depth guy, but he's not gonna really give you any sort of good play. Commanders now. They have what's his name? I think I'll have a great year. And what is it? Quan Martin, yeah. And Daryl Worley, Percy Butler. We'll say this is Daryl Worley. This will be Percy Butler, right? Yeah. I don't know. Maybe one of them Jeremy Reeves. Who cares? Quan Martin for me had a really fun season. I'm gonna put him in hybrid heroes. Honestly, guys, I loved what I saw from him last year. I think there's definitely a potential for an elite player right there. This is Percy Butler for me is kind of just a backup guy, which is kind of what he's gonna be. And then Daryl Worley's just no, because he hasn't been good in who knows how long. Willie Cooker is gonna go in hybrid heroes. He's a very good player. He's gonna go in rangy. He deserves that. He's been really good the past couple of years. Is Donovan? I think Donovan Wilson's still around, right? For the Cowboys, we're not on the resume. That's for in a week. But yes, for the Cowboys and where is he? Donovan Wilson. He's just he kind of a scary season last year for me. Again, he just kind of was all over the place. Kind of have to just put him in mismatch because he just wasn't very good. But again, he kind of came on towards the end. And then what's his name? Marquise Bell still isn't good against the run, but he at least can cover decently. So yeah, Reed Blankenship for me is gonna go in hybrid heroes. I think again I'm still not the highest on it, but he's been really good for a while now. Sidney Brown is house call. He's just not very good. Andrew Makuba I can really couldn't because I think he'll be a starter this year. I expect a very, very, very fun season from him. Low key though, I might just combine these because to be honest with you guys. I don't really think you need that row. At least right now, we might change that back. But again, this is what I'm looking at so far. We got Tristan McCollum, maybe. I think this is Lewis Cine, right? Lewis Cine's in here somewhere. He's awful. Again, not really his fault. He hasn't really played in a while, but he's just been horrible in the league so far. And then who else is at safety for this team? Tristan McCollum. He's just a backup. There's no other way to put it. He's just not a guy you want starting. I think it's Tyler Nubin, Dane Bellin, and Javon Holland. Tyler Newman, I expect to have a great year, but he just really wasn't more than just a decent player last year. He was very safe in coverage, really didn't take too many risks, and especially in terms of the reaction time, it was definitely more of a reactive instinct than an actual proactive one, which I think he can definitely start to develop better. Javon Holland really wasn't all that great last year, but he's still going to probably go in hybrid heroes just because of how talented he is and the fact that, again, there's really not many other guys that can do what he's able to. But the simple reality, no, he's got to go in rangy. The simple reality is the fact that he's just not, he wasn't as good as he, again, was a couple years ago. Dane Bellin needs a mismatch. Yeah, I like him a lot, but the fact again that it matters, he's just not the most physically capable, and for that reason, he's just gonna go here, despite him just being an absolute baller most of the time. Jaquan Brisker, I expect a lot of him. He's going to hybrid heroes. Again, I expect an elite season out of him, to be honest with you guys. Kevin Byard, also gonna go there. He just kind of shifted his game a lot, and he's more of a box guy. The fact that again he can still cover decently enough, as well as the fact that he's kind of become actually a tremendous guy. Again, with what he's been able to do and really helping Jaquan Brisker become a little bit more of an open sort of guy, it's really helped those two guys, and they're working together really well. I still think that Kevin Byard, though, overall is probably a more comfortable player than a guy like Jaquan Brisker, at least as of right now. And then Elijah Hicks, he's a solid guy, but like again, at the same time, he's just a backup, so he's gonna go in house call. And again, he's gonna get big plays. Then you got Jonathan Owens, who is really just not much of anything at this point in his career. And then we got Kirby Joseph, who is one of the best safeties in football. He's an absolutely demon in coverage. You just can't throw those balls this way. He's a cheap player, which again is probably the one thing I guess I have against him. And he's also not always the most consistent tackler, but who cares? Brian Branch is an absolute demon as well. Xavier McKinney, I'm just gonna go to him right now. He's also elite. Who do we have else in this? I don't think it really matters for the Packers. Let's go. We have, what's his name? Evan Williams. Evan Williams, for me, has got to go in box bros. He was actually really good last year. He probably goes in hybrid heroes, but the fact that it didn't matter, I think he was a little bit helped out and was a little bit baby walked until they kind of... No, he actually goes in hybrid heroes, guys. He deserves it. At the end of the season, it kind of opened everything up for him. He really thrived in that role. And I think, again, even though, again, you got a guy like Xavier McKinney there as well, he deserves that. He played at an insanely high level for a rookie last season. And there's really another way around it. He was one of the best rookies in football last season. I don't know. Who have Zane Anderson here? Just no. I don't know. He just doesn't play a lot, and he's not very good. Harrison Smith, honestly, he goes in hybrid heroes as well. Because, yes, in coverage, he's, again, lost like 5 steps. He's like 50. But he still does a really good job against the run. Very physical, still very instinctive. Again, like there's really nothing bad to say about Harrison Smith's game outside the fact that he's slow. Is again not as fast as he used to be. Again, no, that's just straight up expected though at this point. Vikings other guys, we have Josh Metellus and what's his name? Theo Jackson. I don't even know. Jay Ward. They're both not good anyway. Josh Metellus is going to go in box bros because that's really where he is. He can play everything you want him to, but at the same time, he's not really good enough in coverage to actually go up in here, but just absolutely insane value with him. Antoine Winfield Jr., he's still an elite safety despite not putting up maybe the same performance that you would have wanted to, but again, he definitely still deserves to be there. Who else do we have for the Bucks? That I'm not getting. Christian Izine. He actually goes in... I'm going to stick him in box bros because I haven't seen a full season of actually dominant coverage. But at the end of last season, guys, he was really, really, really turning things on. And I think we already talked about Tyke Smith. So I don't even know who we're going to go. Kayvon Merriweather, he's just kind of a backup, so I'll put him here. I think that's fair to say. Jesse Bates, right in the elite tier. One of the best safeties still in football. Numbers, again, weren't, I guess, down, but that really doesn't mean much. Jordan Fuller's a solid player. I don't know who else we have. The Falcons. Who else do they have? Clark Phillips. No, we went through him yesterday. Who else is with the Falcons? DeMarco Helms, maybe? I don't know. He's terrible. There's no way around that. And they got a rookie. Who else do they have? Xavier Watts. I actually think he'll get some good playing time. He's going to go in box bros because I think, again, that's really going to just stick him as a rookie. I don't see him putting up insane numbers by any means, but I expect him to be a pretty impactful guy on tape. Trayvon Moehrig. He's going to go in rangy. He's one of the best safeties, one of the better players, safeties in football, and most impressive as well. Panthers, what else do they got? Why are we on their schedule? I guess that's just still hyperlink. Whatever. Nick Scott, for me, Nick Scott is a mismatch. He just isn't really there in coverage. And yes, last year he wasn't completely bad. Lathan Ransom is just going to go right in rookie because I don't think he's going to have playing time. But like I said, with and then we have Damani Richardson. I struggle with Nick Scott because he really just hasn't given great play. And then Damani Richardson is right here because honestly he was decent as a rookie, but like I really don't care, to be honest with you guys. Justin Reed, hybrid hero, solid safety. Who else do they have? No, I'm just not. It's just not clicking right now. Julian Blackmon. I think that's Jordan Howden right there. Jordan Howden's a guy I like, but at the same time, he's still a mismatch. And then Tyrann Mathieu because he retired. This is the rookie, Jonas Sanker. I like him a lot. I think he'll actually get playing time because of how bad this team is. I expect him to have a tough season, though, overall. But he's still going to be able to make enough plays against the run to be considered, in that tier. Jalen Thompson, Demarion, he's just not good. Demarion Taylor Demerson, I put him in here because I like his athleticism, but, like, how much does that matter when you really can't do much in coverage? Jalen Thompson, he is a box pro. He's a very solid safety. Again, you just cannot give you really everything you want out of him. And then, obviously, Budda Baker is an elite safety. He's been that for a while. Yeah, he goes right there. Niners safeties. Who do we got running out there right now? Malik Mustafa and Jair, what's his name? Brown. I'm going to say this is Malik Mustafa. That's Jair Brown. And then this is the new guy they got. What's his name? Richie Grant. Richie Grant is not great. Jason Pinnock isn't the worst. What's his name? Jair Brown is rough. And again, there's just issues with his game. And then you also have Malik Mustafa, who's going in hybrid here. He's an absolute monster. Again, I get he got injured, but, like, who cares? He's that good. And then, again, I guess there's 2 copies of him now. Again, I guess Jason Pinnock got cloned. My bad. Cam Kitchens, I'm like, that's got to be Cam, right? Yeah. Cam Kitchens, Cam Curl, and then Quentin Lake. I think, right? Do I have Quentin Lake here? I think it's Jalen McCullough. I think I did Quentin Lake yesterday. He's basically a safety, though. Again, he'd be, like, around here. Cam Curl is going to go in hybrid heroes. He's just too good of a run defender. I understand coverage. He's pretty flawed overall, but he's such a good run defender and so dynamic in terms of a high ceiling that he goes there. Cam Kitchens, for me, is going to go in box pros. He had a really nice season as a rookie last year. There were a lot of mistakes. I understand that. But in terms of a playmaking standpoint, he's one of the more upside guys going into this season. Then Jalen McCullough is a fun guy to watch. But at the moment, he's probably a mismatch just because he is not the greatest against the run at the moment. But with that said, Julian Love, not really all that great season from him. I'm going to put him in rangy, though, because he's still so good most of the time. Then who else do we have here? Like, just blanking. What do we got? Kobe Bryant, maybe? Right? Yeah. Kobe Bryant is going to go in box pros. He's a solid player. And then we got Nick Wanawari, who is going to be an interesting guy. I'm going to say he'll go in box pros as well. He's just too athletic for that to be any other reality than that. With that said, though, I hope you guys enjoyed the 2025 NFL safety rankings. Again, if you have any complaints or again any of your own opinions on this, please comment down in the section below. And yeah, we're out of the secondary, and we're getting some more fun positions starting tomorrow.
Brown is the motion man. 3rd and 10. Flacco. Freeney. Dwight Freeney back in the sack column.
Guess what move he used? He sets you up with the speed rush. He gets Monroe working up the field and watch him on the spin move. Good night. General Manager Steve Keim deserves a lot of credit. He brought in 5 veteran Pro Bowl players: Chris Johnson, Freeney,